And starting off with our team members are Papalajike Diouf. He is our Director of Programs and the lead meeting organizer and meeting chair. Anita Ba is our note taker. Roberto Camara is a data collector. Monica Doby, that's me. I'm the communications person. And Papalajike is also our clinical expert. Chanel Landry is our administrative expert. We are based in Vanier, Ottawa, and have a residential rehab center at three different residences, one for women, one for men, and one for youth. So we joined this team. Remind me what date, what month it was. It was in the winter, I believe, in January or February of last year. And so we were seeking out E-QIP support because, we've had some changes in our management in the last 2 years, and we're feeling somewhat stagnant in our progress, and so we needed to find some ideas to be able to get a little fire under us and to be able to move on and expand our services and quality. So what initially happened was that we needed to know what was available to us, and E-QIP gave us the information at the very basic level that we needed to have data, and we weren't actually using that data in a way that was helpful for us, really, or to improve quality. So we wanted to gain a better understanding of how to extract the existing data that we had in-house and through Datus, and also to get a better idea of how we could use that data to improve quality for our service. The problem that we had initially was to do with relapse prevention, and the data actually came back saying that we didn't need that wasn't a problem that we needed to work on. So we decided to pivot and to just make our goal to gain more data and to use E-QIP to learn how to do that. So to do that, we had to convince our team that was going to be happening, and luckily OPOC, the evaluation tool, came in at the same time. So what we were trying to inspire the team to use the data differently, the data, and not just use it kind of with our eyes closed and just doing it because we were told to do it, but to also look at it as a tool, and also to be open to OPOC's efficiency in the future. Let me just go here.
Do you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah. So the next slide would be our goals. So our goal with E-QIP was to acquire better tools and knowledge about quality improvement. So to actually know what quality improvement was really helpful, because we didn't really know, apart from like a general vague thing. It was really helpful to do to use the tools and to have explanations of what quality improvement can look like, and to be equipped for a better use of our data from our assessment tools about the services offered here. So our assessment tools, again, being our in-house tools, and OPOC. And also the tools that Papalajike and I used when we went to Collingwood. And the progress in that is that we're still in touch with our senior leaders and our board, and we still are hoping for the data to help us with quality improvement. There has been some delay in that because the OPOC evaluation tool has just recently launched here. And what we understood was that without data, our problem was harder to actually establish. So we're still waiting for more data to be able to establish a problem. Now, lessons learned
Next slide.
is that without the required data, it's difficult to come up with a project. So that happened live. We also gained insight into our team dynamics, in particular the divergent opinions when we're working on a common goal. Depending on, and I can speak about this openly and comfortably, is that there are people who have been working here for over 30 years, and there are people who've been working here for under 3 months. So you're going to have a level of openness that's tricky with the younger staff, and you're going to have a level of discomfort with change amongst the older staff. So it was good to see. It was good to know about that anyway, and to see that it does exist, and to not bury our heads in the sand. The impact on our organization beyond the project and the project team. So strengthen the positive image of Maison Fraternite with the community and partners through quality improvement. So while we're doing it, while we're working on this project, which we hope to have in the next little while, we want to keep our partners in line with what we're doing, keep them informed, and maybe try to inspire them as well to keep their quality, to keep it in mind in their future projects. I'll go to the next slide. So next steps to progress improvement would be to continue to extract data and to build process with our senior managers and team. We really do have to communicate better within our agency so that everyone is on board. Introduce the frontline workers. So here we call them intervenants. I think the consensus was that they would prefer to be called addiction counselors. So we're going to include them in this process as well, because they have the most intel and experience with our clients, and so that would be helpful. And I think they would feel included in it, and that will initially improve quality with our relationship with them. So we'll be sharing our experiences that we've already had with E-QIP, and then providing them with training and answering any questions that they may have. The next step will be to refine and work on our question / problem / project. We haven't made much progress on that. So as I said, we're still waiting for our data to be able to put some fire in the belly to be able to continue with that effort. And that's all I've got for the moment. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me?
Hi there, it's Mike, and say thank you first of all for joining us and presenting your experience back. I think some great insights there. I had a question, and then I know there's some questions on the board here too.
Yes.
My question is, you've identified that you are going to continue to look at the data and look for those opportunities to improve the QI project. Do you feel now that you have a little more of those tools in your tool belt to help you follow a QI process in future?
I think so. The tools are there. We also had an opportunity to look into those tools recently when the E-QIP team came to Ottawa. The tools remain very, very good. It's that our team needs to embrace them kind of differently and find a problem that the tools could be used for that would be helpful. So the tools are good. It's our dynamic that needs work.
Great.
Monica,
Sorry, go ahead, Deb.
Yeah, it's Debbie speaking. I think one of the things that happened with this project is it began as general coaching and trying to build a culture and an infrastructure for quality improvement, and looking at data in a regular way and looking at trends and things that were happening and getting that information to the board and the senior management team. And I think that's one of the big things that has occurred. When there was a problem that they thought that they had around recidivism rates, and when it turned out that they pulled the data, they found that the problem was only with 3% of the clientele. So it was abandoned as a QI project because there was really no need to work on it at that point in time. So, and we just did, as Monica mentioned, the ideas training with the group, and there were some problems that were identified there, and the teams had a chance to work through some of the steps in the model for improvement through the ideas training. So hoping that there will be some continuation of that work. So it wasn't that the team didn't have intentions of doing a project, just the area they thought they had a problem with turned out not to be a problem.
Correct. And then finding another problem was difficult.
Again, trying to get that data in place and
without data, as I explained in the slides, so without data, we can't really seem to move forward. And when we did try to do that at our last meeting, without the data, it was hard to convince other people that these things were actual problems for the whole team.
Thank you. There's a couple other questions on the board as well. The first one is, what advice would you give to organizations who are fearful of data and finding the right data?
I think data can be your friend. And it doesn't have to be so cut and dry. I think that data is really helpful. It's just that organizations may be afraid of it because they're afraid of the outcome of the data. I mean, we certainly embraced the data because it gave us an answer to our question immediately. I think that it can provide some insight, and also it can be uncomfortable and destabilizing. But those things you can change, and that's why you're there to look at the data, is to actually alter it and see how you can improve what's causing the data to actually be what it is. So I like it because it's rational, unemotional, and if you have the right question and the right people doing it who are empathic and understand that it's tricky because when you're waiting for the results, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. So I think if handled well, then it can be like a superb tool.
Thank you. One other question on the board from our friend Ivan. Hi, Ivan.
Hi, Ivan.
Curious to know a bit more about use of the OPOC tool. Do you offer this to clients on a continuous basis or do annual blitz? Example, have you been able to tease out some of the ideas from the OPOC survey report to inform your change ideas?
This is done monthly here. And it is given in tandem with our in-house project, so it is done continuously. Saying that, it has only been 2 months. So there is no blitz, and the continuum has only been for a short period of time. So I'm not sure at what point we could start. I mean, the data will be compiled immediately, but I'm not sure at what point it will start becoming useful in terms of concrete project building.
Yeah, it's a curious question as to how long it takes before you can rely on the findings that are something to build a quality improvement project on, as opposed to just some general thinking of a group where you're seeing some trends or some common issues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing no further questions on the board, but big thank you for taking the time to present and joining us today.
Thank you very much for your questions and your time.